I know what I wanted to say. It suddenly occurred to me, but I was in a flow of something else. At 2 minutes 40 seconds into that last recording, I thought of my dad. He was very appreciative of the fact that he'd have sort of every blessing in the book sort of thing, really. Well, not in the book. You wouldn't think of the book, but, you know. It's very secular. Very secular. It's all rubbish, boy. Religious nonsense, stuff and nonsense. But he's grateful for having been born into an affluent family and being affluent basically all his life. Always had his family behind him with the cash. Didn't always avail himself of it, but it was always there. And you know, he was just a year too old, I think it was 1 year, something like that, to be fighting on the front in the Second World War. Thank God, from my point of view. And his family, of course, in a way. Very patriotic, though, incredibly patriotic he was, you know, devoted to Queen and country. But he was, and most earnestly, and integrity, and concerned for the poor. I don't mean he gave away all that he had, but he lived meanly. He was struck by being in the military in North Africa and people sorting through the rubbish dump in order to find food, desperate. He never wasted anything from then on. And anything that was old, he would give to someone. Not sell it on Trade Me, you see. It's before Trade Me, of course, long before. But he'd just give it away. And he'd try and give work to people who needed it. I mean, he may have found them useless and then fired them. But, you know, after all, he was running a stockbrokers. I mean, it's a very worldly institution. It's socially acceptable gambling casino, isn't it? And interestingly, he never did gamble. He kept his money in incredibly safe things like Lancashire cotton, which was contracting as an industry according to the scope of its market, which was very wise. It just kept a good return, very safe. He was not a gambler, even though he was a manager of stockbrokers. But anyway, yes, the point is he was very thankful for all sorts of things. And of course, he got a beautiful wife. I mean, she hated him. You can't have everything, but, you know, she was beautiful. A wonderful trophy. I mean, you know, oh, Jim's so lucky. I mean, he's got all this wealth and he's got a beautiful wife and a child. I mean, he didn't want the child. That wrecked his social life, according to Mum. But, and I do mean according to Mum. I don't know what it was according to him. But anyway, they saw it as, you know, he's got everything. And he felt he'd been, he wouldn't use the word, but incredibly blessed. She was very thankful. He didn't know who to. I mean, he wasn't considering who to. He was just feeling thankful and grateful, but very glad. But, you know, no God. But do you see? He was of high integrity, would always keep his word, was always faithful. You could rely on him utterly, and he provided and protected his family. When I had trouble at school, he'd be up there and sort it out with the head teacher. No, I mean, with Mum's pushing, of course, but she'd like to take the credit anyway. And that was, even though I was a great cost to him. I mean, Mum doted on me and hated him. I mean, that was hard. Did he divorce her? Was he unfaithful about it? No. He knew what his duty was. I mean, don't mean he enjoyed it. He did it under sufferance, but, you know, But do you see, he'd gained the right values. He was incredibly Victorian, awfully, Victorian, male-dominated, wasn't it? And self-righteous, and you could floor him on all sorts of points. And Mum did, at great length, to me. And that's not a laughing matter. Fancy ruining the relationship between you and your dad. You would have thought that's a terrible start. You'll never come to love God at that rate. You know, with the way Christianity has made God male. I mean, if Christianity had made God female like the Hindu religion can, then of course it would be no bar to me coming to love God. I would simply see, like Paramahansa, Divine Mother as, or rather the other way around, one's earthly mother as the incarnation of Divine Mother. I don't know how he saw her, but, the association would have been good, not bad. But I was still blessed by Dad. I could see his good points, and Mum used to point out his good points, in fairness. In the early years, I don't remember it in the latter years, but in the early years, when I was a child, he is faithful, he is honest, he always keeps his word, he always provides. Phone him up and ask him if he'll fund you for a holiday, school holiday I wanted to go on. So she phoned him up. Marcia wants to talk to you. I don't know how old I was. 11. Can I go on this holiday? Yes. Right? Just like that. See, actions speak louder than words, don't they? Just like that. Yes, I'll do it. Of course, it was no real cost to him, but, it was yes, not no. Not, no, this is my opportunity to get my own back. No. Good chap. I choose to think well of him, you may think. Right. That's who I wish to be. I choose to think well of what the Christian religion might see as a sinner. Why? Because that's who I am. I choose to follow the Buddhist in this regard, that man is the focus of causes and conditions. But I also choose to think my God is master of all powerful and all loving, and all the causes and conditions are in fact good. It's just that we don't see it. Like I didn't see Dad to be good. And I hope he's in heaven. I trust he's in heaven or well on the way. And Mum, I have to trust for her too. And I do have to trust because she was of such incredible blessing to me. And there were problems, but not many that I knew of. A few that I didn't know of. Thank you, Heavenly Dad. Let me just, before I close this, check what I've said here. Well, interesting recording, even from my point of view. Thank you, Heavenly Dad.